It's been a week of twists and turns for NIO, and as we head into the weekend, the conversation is shifting. The numbers are in, the dust has settled on the delivery headlines, and now, eyes are turning forward to the next potential spark for the stock, the upcoming third-generation ES8 SUV. This could be the catalyst that changes the narrative, but whether it will depends on more than just looks and specs. Let's break it down. NIO closed Friday session at $4.84 a share, up just over 3% for the day. That's a solid rebound after a rough start to the week, where delivery data for July put a bit of a dampener on recent optimism. For context, the company delivered just over 21,000 vehicles in July. That's up modestly year-on-year, but given the momentum we saw earlier in the year, some investors were hoping for a stronger print. The market reacted accordingly earlier in the week, with Monday's and Tuesday sessions bringing some heavy selling pressure. But by Friday, the mood had shifted, at least somewhat. No major headlines have dropped since the market closed Friday, so we're in a rare quiet window for NIO. In some ways, that calm is exactly what the company needs, a chance for sentiment to reset, for the short-term noise to fade, and for focus to return to the medium-term catalysts that could actually move the needle. And right now, the biggest of those is the ES8. For those unfamiliar, the ES8 is NIO's flagship SUV, essentially the halo product in their lineup. The third-generation model is expected to be officially unveiled later this month, ahead of its star moment at NIO Day 2025, which is planned for late September. Deliveries are expected to follow shortly after. If you've been following NIO for a while, you'll know that NIO Day events are a big deal. They're not just product launches, they're part tech showcase, part brand festival, and part rallying cry for the company's fanbase. In the past, these events have had a noticeable impact on retail investor sentiment and, at times, on the stock itself. So why does the ES8 matter so much right now? First, timing. NIO has been in a bit of a holding pattern in 2025. Deliveries are growing, but not at a pace that's lighting up the charts. The stock has been range-bound, hovering between $4.50 and $5 for much of the past month. A successful ES8 launch could provide the kind of narrative shift that reignites interest, not just among loyal fans, but among analysts and institutions who've been sitting on the sidelines. Second, the ES8 sits in a high-margin segment. Larger SUVs tend to carry better profitability than smaller sedans or entry-level models. If NIO can spark renewed demand in this segment, it could help lift the company's gross margins, which is a critical point for the stock's valuation. Right now, profitability remains a work in progress for NIO. Any step towards stronger margins is going to be noticed. Third, and maybe most importantly, the ES8 is a platform for NIO to showcase its technology. From autonomous driving capabilities to battery swap integration and software features, this vehicle is an opportunity to reassert that NIO isn't just another EV maker, but a technology brand. In a market where differentiation is everything, especially with so many competitors in China, how the ES8 is received could influence the company's broader perception in the months ahead. Of course, there are risks here. We've seen plenty of hyped launches across the EV industry that fail to move the sales needle in a meaningful way. If the ES8 comes out and it's only seen as a minor upgrade, or if the price point doesn't land well with consumers, the impact could be muted. In that scenario, the stock might slip back into the same range we've been seeing, leaving us waiting for the next catalyst. That's where market context matters. It's not just about what NIO does, it's about the environment they're doing it in. The Chinese EV market is still intensely competitive. Tesla, BYD, Li Auto, XPeng, they're all pushing hard with new models, aggressive pricing, and constant tech upgrades. Add in the broader macroeconomic headwinds, from consumer confidence to trade tensions, and you can see why even a great product launch doesn't guarantee a stock rally. That said, the way NIO has staged its comebacks in the past should not be underestimated. This is a company that has faced significant challenges before, whether it was funding pressures, production delays, or shifting consumer trends, and has managed to keep moving forward. The ES8's timing could allow NIO to ride into the fourth quarter with fresh momentum, especially if we see strong pre-orders or initial delivery figures. From a technical perspective, Friday's move to $4.84 is encouraging. It's not a breakout, let's be honest, but it does show that buyers are still willing to step in when the stock gets near the lower end of its recent range. The key now is whether NIO can string together multiple sessions of strength. If we see a push toward $5.10 or $5.20 ahead of the ES8 unveiling, that could set up a bigger move if the launch is well received. For investors watching this from the sidelines, the decision point is whether you believe the ES8 can be that turning point. If you do, then the current price range might look attractive. If you're more skeptical, you might prefer to wait for confirmation, either in the form of positive delivery numbers post-launch or a technical breakout above recent resistance levels. In the meantime, the lack of major news this weekend isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes, no news is good news, especially when the market has been digesting softer data. It allows the narrative to shift organically from what just happened to what could happen next. And right now, next is all about the ES8. I think the optimism here is grounded in reality. We're not talking about a guaranteed turnaround. We're talking about a company with a clear near-term catalyst, a loyal customer base, and a track record of using its flagship events to generate buzz. Combine that with the potential for improved margins and stronger branding, and you have the ingredients for a possible sentiment reset. Whether that reset sticks will depend on execution, but at least there's something tangible on the horizon. So as we head into the new week, here's what I'll be watching. First, any leaks or teasers about the ES8's features and pricing. NIO has been pretty good at managing its launch hype, and even a small detail could spark discussion. Second, how the stock behaves early in the week. Does it hold above $4.80? Does it make another run at $5? And third, the broader market tone. Last week showed how much the major indices can influence NIO's intraday moves, so if we get a stronger macro backdrop, that could be an additional tailwind. At the end of the day, NIO is still in a prove-it phase. Investors want to see not just innovation, but profitable growth. The ES8 won't solve all of that in one go, but it could be the first step in rewriting the second half of 2025 for the company. Until then, the stock may continue to bounce within its current range, but with a little more optimism than we had earlier this week. If you've been following NIO for a while, you know the story isn't linear. It's been a ride of ups and downs, breakthroughs, and setbacks. The ES8 launch is the next chapter in that story, and while we don't know how it ends yet, the setup is intriguing. For now, patience and perspective are key. The next few weeks could tell us a lot about where this stock is heading into year-end.